Patty, Pasty, Patsy. An extract from a novel by Hasan Shikoh. Usman Farooq smiles as he steps out onto Euston Road. The crisp morning feels good. He slightly loosens the biting straps of the rucksack that the man in the Jaguar had given him earlier in the morning, then unfolds his instruction sheet. Exit King's Cross Thameslink station onto Euston Road and take the number 91 west to Euston station. From there take the number 30 to King's Cross Thameslink station. Call me at 9:45 a.m. sharp. It's the first time he registers the instructions. Why take a bus from King's Cross Thameslink and then take the one going in the opposite direction back to the same station he was already at? Just then the number 91 double-decker bus approaches his stop like a carnival float. It looks packed. He must get in the queue quickly to board it. He can't afford to bungle on his first ever assignment with his last-minute confusions. The ride is a short hop. He disembarks at the Euston Station bus stop and walks straight in under the plexiglass canopy. Several people are queuing for their bus, and many are sitting half-buttock on the shelter's ribbed, narrow blue benches. He peers over the pale shoulder of a gum-chewing, phone-busy teenage girl to read the small print timetables on the plastic panel behind her. The scent of her hairspray and goth-style makeup distracts him, and he looks at her for a lingering moment. Conscious now, she looks up and stares at him. He feels her grey eyes bore into his soul, and for some inexplicable reason, his heartbeat quickens. Busying herself with her phone again, she moves ever so slightly for him to be able to look at the information she is blocking. He manages to make out from somewhere in the timings list that the number 30 originating at Marble Arch and going back up the Euston Road east is due to arrive in 25 minutes. Enough time to grab a bite, he thinks. Across the road, the M of McDonalds catches his eye. His family back home would never consider eating from there, as they would say it's not halal. "You are what you eat," his dad would often say. But Usman is less fussy, and besides, he is alone in big London, a long way from home. No one would ever know he allowed himself a little one-off food adventure. In his hurry towards the restaurant, he collides with the man eating out of a Greggs paper bag. The man drops it as he nearly chokes on his morsel. Usman lunges to pick the bag off the ground. In that instant, the 2-liter plastic container in his rucksack rolls, making him lose his balance, and he almost falls. "Sorry, bro, the food didn't touch the ground," he says, arms outstretched, Greg's bag in hand. The man snatches it from him and goes on his way without a word. Inside McDonald's, he scours the backlit menu board for what might take his fancy. He decides on the hamburger. Beef patty with onions, pickles and mustard sauce. Something that he'd always wanted to try out. As he joins a short queue to place his order, he runs his hand over his stubble. It smells of the Greggs cheese and onion pasty. The aroma triggers a memory from school. He chuckles and shakes his head. During his GCSEs, he was particularly groggy one morning and arrived late for the English class. The teacher was explaining the difference between patties and pasties. Usman sat down and soon enough had started looking out of the window when the teacher called him out. "So, Usman, what's a pasty then?" Startled, of course, he blurted, "A patsy is very similar to a patty and sorry, what was that?" "I said a patsy is very pasty, Usman, pasty," the teacher said. The class burst into laughter, and for several days after that, his mates teased him to no end. "Hello, Patsy," they'd say, and at other times collectively sing like spectators at football matches. "There goes the Patsy, la 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 la." The girls laughed too, even Beth, although she had smiled only a few times at his naivete. Usman remembers her because she used to wear tooth braces and was normally too embarrassed to reveal them. She was one of the girls who liked him, though, that much he knew. Prior to being nicknamed Patsy by the class, his reputation across the school was as a gentle giant. Even the headmaster had once fondly said so because basically he was pleased with Usman's good attendance record and general performance in his studies. But despite his satisfactory record, Usman was convinced he was not cut out for poring over books or doing a 9-to-5 job. For his GCSEs, he had opted to take the GNVQ route in business studies with the blurry vision that one day he would set up his own business in something. By the time he had graduated, he found he liked it enough to proceed to complete his AVCE in business. At the McDonald's, a young woman whose height reaches just an inch above the till monitor breaks his reverie. "Do you want to place your order, sir?" she says, the T's and D's in a word somewhat blunted. Usman tells her what he'd like, wondering if she were Filipino. "The meal will be $3.99, sir. Cash or card?" "Cash." Would you be able to pay by card today? We're running short of change and we're asking customers just in case," the till girl says. He hated it when people didn't return his due change, however small. And so then he'd put his foot down. "Sorry, no cash, and I'd like to have my change too, please," Usman says. "Of course, this is McDonald's, sir. We give back people change." He is handed his loaded tray almost immediately, and he selects a table by the glass wall facing Euston Road. He unwraps his secret burger and snaps it straight away. A couple more bites, and he decides it tastes all right, though he wonders if the lumps in his throat that he downs with his fizzy drink are of guilt or just the hamburger he's munched. Looking out at the road, he senses that some sort of unease seems to have gripped the flow of everything. Just then, two young lads with a gangwalk gait push into the restaurant, arguing loudly. "I'm telling you, bro, I heard it, bro," one keeps saying to his pal, his intense gesticulations low jabbing in the air in consort with his claim. "Somebody's bombed the tubes." "Yeah, but how do you know it's bombs, innit?" his friend says, his hands half tucked in the waistband of his sagging jogging bottoms. Somebody's bombed the tubes. Usman's heart skips a beat.